Hey everybody, happy Friday. It's your girl, Dr. Shanita Williams, with your Feedback Friday, which is the time of the week where we pause and reflect on the beauty that is feedback. Today, I'm going to keep it short and sweet, and we are going to talk a little bit about a phrase that I learned that I use often. And I don't know if you've heard this before, but you teach people how to treat you. Have you heard that before? You teach people how to treat you. It's such a powerful phrase when you think about it. You know, every day, if I allow certain behaviors to happen, people think it's acceptable. And so in order to teach people how to treat you, I think it's important that when someone displays a behavior that rubs you the wrong way, makes you uncomfortable, that you step up and give them feedback to let them know, how to treat you. Well, this week I had a tough week. I'm going to be honest. I have makeup on today and I'm smiling with my little ring light, but I had a rough week. This week I encountered what I would call a bully. I had someone tell me that I maybe wasn't good enough, that maybe I was an imposter, or that I was a token in a particular scenario. Someone told me that maybe I'm not really a good speaker and maybe your book really isn't good. I had someone tell me, like, why even do this? Just give it up. You're not really all that good. And remember, I told you the phrase, you teach people how to treat you. Well, what do you do then when someone is saying these things to you and you find out that it's actually yourself? Yeah, I fell in this negative spiral this week, I'll be honest, where the person who was bullying me was actually myself. Have you ever thought about how you should treat yourself? Because sometimes we say the worst things to ourselves, putting ourselves in a box and making ourselves feel terrible. What I want to suggest to you, if you've ever fallen into a space where you've treated yourself poorly, like I did, I had to give myself some feedback. I literally had to stop the negativity spiral because the truth of the matter is that I'm not perfect. That's a fact. But everything else was completely false. And so it's important that we get really clear about how other people treat us, but how we treat ourselves. And so I had a really bad day this week where I just kept beating myself up. It was probably for about a good hour and a half of just saying all of these terrible things to myself. But would you stand there and allow someone else to say those things to you? Absolutely not. So here's my tip. If you find yourself getting bullied by your own self, right? If you are saying some pretty negative things about yourself, my first tip is you have to stop the emotional response. The key is to first take a breath. We got to breathe. Because sometimes those thoughts and feelings are flying so fast that our logical brain is offline and we can't even think rationally. That was me. I had kicked verbal judo all down the side of the house for myself just because I couldn't stop the stream of consciousness. So if you stop and take a breath, you interrupt that. Okay, so if you find yourself having a bad day and saying these things, first take a breath. After you take a breath, I also want you to immediately just say out loud, this is false. Just say it. The mind follows the body. Make your lips actually say this is untrue. And then I want you to do for the third thing is actually find evidence to counter that. Because the reality is you are capable. The reality is you are amazing. Now, are you perfect? No. I'm not, and I'm okay with that. But we can't sit there and allow ourselves to berate ourselves and make ourselves feel bad simply because we had a bad moment. We have a bad moment, not a bad life. Maybe you made a mistake, but you're not a mistake. And your value isn't based on other people's perception of you. It really is about your perception of yourself. So, as you go about your weekend or your life, I want you to think about that phrase, you teach people how to treat you. And another person in that people bucket is yourself. So be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself because you are listening. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you got a little nugget to help you reclaim your power. And if not for you, share it with someone else. Have a wonderful weekend. Take care.